Okay, back here once again on the official Waterford FC podcast, and I'm delighted. Joining me here on this one is our former goalkeeper and current kitman and goalkeeping coach of the Waterford FC. He's so many jobs, he's worse than me. Kevin Burns. Kevin, how are you?
I'm not too bad, Tony.
Kevin, I should have prepared more for the intro because I forgot just how historic this chat was going to be and how faceted it was going to be. The first thing I will say is, how has it been settling in your role as the kitman, first of all?
It's been very good. It's totally different to be on the other side of the white line and doing all the jobs that Richie would have done previously. I didn't realise how much was involved in it until I got stuck into it, but it's been really enjoyable. Everyone's been great since I came back into the club on this side of it, so it's been brilliant. And
that was going to be the leading question I was going for. Is I don't think people realise, because I certainly didn't realise just how much work goes into what you're doing on day to day, and not just on match day but preparing for it as well. Like, there's often been times where I've said, "Oh, Kev, can we do this?" and you're going, "Tony, like, I'm getting ready to go off and do all these things." Talk us through, just for the listener especially, what does a normal, let's say even an away day, game day, look like for you?
I suppose it starts with the week before in terms of where we've been. If it's a home game, it's not too bad. You're washing the kit from the previous week. Mm-hmm. Obviously this year I've taken on looking after the training kit as well, so I'm doing that during the week while preparing for an away game. But you're packing a kit for each individual player. You're packing a warm-up top, a warm-up t-shirt, and then you're looking after socks, jerseys, everything, from what they wear underneath their clothes, from underwear to socks to everything. You're bringing towels, you're bringing jackets for the bench, pants for different lads that wear them during the warm-up. Goalkeepers wear different stuff. You're looking after water bottles, the Luke say, the food that they eat at half-time, before the game, everything from that side of it. So wow. It's not just get in the van and drive, it's preparing all that during the week. Well,
so. It's not getting the van and drive and then hang up the jerseys 1 to 11 in the thing. There's so much. It's actually almost wrongly labelled as a position. Yeah. You're looking after food and everything for them.
Everything, from that side of it. Now, luckily this year, the other side of the house have kind of taken that from me, as we have the women on board as well, so thankfully they're looking after that, so I literally pick it up and I can bring it into the dressing room straight in, so there's obviously a lot. There's coaches gear as well. The coaches have the same as the players, so they wear different stuff when they go out for warm up and match, so you have to prepare that and have it folded and make it look presentable as well. So,
well, obviously I want to talk about your playing days eventually, but I'm so interested in this because it's a part of football that people don't think about. Mm-hmm. Obviously I spend my day to days with Richie, so I know a little bit more about it now, him having come up through with his legendary grandfather Michael Walsh, of course, but until then, I probably didn't even really think about it, to be honest with you. I'd often be around Waterford City and see the Waterford kit van around the place, but you never really give it a second thought until you're kind of getting in closer to it. How does the opportunity come about? How does it even come to your attention that this is something that might be on the cards for you?
Well, I suppose at the time I'd been out of work for 5 months. I had actually ruptured my MCL playing. Stupidly I went back playing when I said I wouldn't, but first game of the season playing for my local club.
We've all done that.
Still trying to keep playing. So I ended up, I was working in Lidl as a store manager at the time, and I was out of work for 5 months, and then I got wind that Richie was stepping into the other side of the business. So contacted Richie and said, look, can we have a conversation and see how it'll go? And obviously financially it was a big step. It wasn't a full-time role when I took it first, so talking to Richie is a big decision for me. I was doing a lot of coaching on the other side as well, so I was like, right, I'm going to take a chance. I wanted to be a coach full-time anyway, so I said, look, I'll take this role, it's part-time, do that and do my coaching in the evening. So that was how it came about. I had a good chat with Richie. I know Richie since I was playing and he was doing the kit, so then we just went from there with it, and it just got bigger as the month or two before Christmas got bigger, and Richie said, look, we want to bring you in full-time, and then the van came about and all these things that Richie wouldn't have had and Michael wouldn't have had years ago, and I remember them coming on the bus with us and taking out the kit and going, lads, can you go out and walk on the pitch while we set up the kit? So it was no, like I do now, go a couple of hours beforehand where I have the time because of my full-time job. They didn't have that, so now it's great, that's how it came about. And since then now it's 18 months or whatever since I started now, and it's going. getting bigger. Like
I was going to say, and it seems to be going very well anyway. There's no complaints about missed underwear or socks or anything like that, so everything seems to be going well.
To be fair, I don't have too many divas in the squad, so it makes it a bit easier.
Well, it's easy to say that now that we're recording. But anyway, talk to us about being a goalkeeper, because I've always been fascinated with goalkeepers, to be honest with you. Even as a schoolboy player, you'd be out, when you were out playing on the green, it was almost a you go on goal, no you go on goal, no you. And when as a child I was like, I wonder what it would be like, but to actually be a goalkeeper. But for me it was always like, oh, will I be blamed if we score? In my head I couldn't go there, so I'm always fascinated with people who are goalkeepers. When did it become apparent for you that was going to be what you were going to be?
It literally started when I was about 9 or 10 in Seaview. We had no goalkeeper for an under 11 game that we were playing, and I said, should I go in goal? And my mum at the time just went like, what are you doing? She was actually so annoyed that I did it, but
really?
I went from because like it's just a position
unglamorous.
Not even unglamorous. I think any parent of a goalkeeper is just like, oh my god, ball is coming in near them, they panic like, and stuff, that kind of side of it. Then I actually started playing well. I got on Waterford squads underage and stuff, and started to play well. Once you start playing well, I think you enjoy it, and then went from there. Up until under 15, I played my own age group on goal and the age above outfield. So I would have played, centre half. I played left wing one game. I remember last game of the season, they just for the laugh, like under. But then, I went from there and started getting international kind of trials and stuff then under 15. And so around then I said, right, okay, actually this could actually be a thing that might work for me. Like,
and if you don't mind me saying, you're very mild-mannered for a goalkeeper.
Right.
Now, some people might argue with that.
See, Tony,
and I was going to say, there's some days maybe not. But like, there's kind of a misconception maybe, and maybe it isn't a misconception, that goalkeepers are all a bit mad. I think you and maybe Derek Hearn are the two more calm. And even saying that, Scrubber will enjoy that one. But like, it certainly does take a certain type of thing, because as you're saying, like, even as parents, or like balls are coming in, fellas are slamming into them. You're kind of signing up for a life, like you tore your MCL playing on goal.
Yeah.
So you're signing up for a life of kind of battering, really.
That's it. Like, and anyone that, like, obviously do coaching now with younger kids, and it's trying to get them, train their mind into go, right, this ball is travelling at however many miles an hour at you. You got to throw yourself in the way of it. You can't be afraid of it, because it's a mad one. It is. And I know there is a thing about goalkeepers, all goalkeepers are mad. I don't think all of them are, but a lot of them that make it to the top are. I look at Emi Martinez now, he's just nuts like, but in a good way. Like, he knows why he can outstrike a striker, and that's a benefit for him, like, but there's other lads that I've seen throughout the years, but a lot of that I've dealt with are not too mad. And
that's why I was kind of asking you when you were saying about your mum saying, what are you doing, is it unglamorous? But I don't think it ever really was. When you think about like Bruce Grobbelaar, Peter Shilton, Peter Schmeichel, Emi Martinez, Alison Becker, Ederson, like, there's been so many huge personalities as goalkeepers, and it really, from what I see anyway, and the experience I have playing football, is it starts there with the goalkeeper for the team, doesn't it? And do you feel that as a goalkeeper?
You do. Like, if you make a mistake, obviously the whole team, their heads are down, like, and stuff, but if you make a big save, the lift it can give is massive as well. Like, and I suppose I only kind of realised that when I came towards nearly the end of my League of Ireland career, that I was gone, I saw it in a different light, like, Right. I think when I was younger I was just playing, and then I started getting nervous then as like I got a small bit older, like, and stuff. But then now when you're on the other side trying to coach kids, you're like going, well, this can be a massive thing for a team if you're good enough, like, or even half decent. If you don't make mistakes regularly, you'll make a mistake, but if you don't make them regularly, it's a big lift for a team. Like.
Yeah, and talk to us about, I suppose, being 15, 16 and starting to get international trials and stuff like that. What does that even feel like as a schoolboy?
It was a bit mad, because obviously I'm out in the sticks, out in the middle of the country, and for like the likes of Seaview to have somebody doing that was mad, like, and not something I had ever thought of when I was really young, and I don't think my parents had ever thought of it, like, so they were bringing me all over the country. I remember going down to Cork every Monday night for an emerging talent. My dad would drive me down, like, literally just for training, international kind of training. Conor Horan and them were there at that time, and I was going, like, you don't think of these things, you just remember fellas' names, and next one, and then they're playing over England and stuff. So then up to Dublin every couple of weeks for international trials, and it was even I actually underage then with Andy Boyle, I actually played with him underage and stuff. So it was mad when he came back this year. We were having a chat about it, like, and stuff like that. So it's things like that you're going, it was mental to think of someone from where I am to be getting that opportunity, like, was brilliant. But had a great support network around me, bringing me all over the country, so it's made it easier.
And that's a huge part of it as well, in any facet of any, like whether you're a singer or a guitar player or a musician in any way, or an actor or a player or whatever it is. I think having your parents support you in that way is always huge, because it's not always the case, in fairness, you know.
It's not, and it makes it easier for you to do that, and something you love now. Like, they invested so much time and even money side of it, like, you know, into it, like. And I remember, like, Simon, my brother, now works in around the club now. He was only a tiny baby, then bringing him up to Donegal, literally up to Inishowen to play a game, like, and he was there watching, so it's brilliant, like, you know, it's
so
unreal.
We'll take you out of school now, and what are the options, I suppose, leaving school then?
I always say it, like, I played cup semi-final for Waterford. I was only 17, I think, and like, I played well, only my second, third game of the season, and I thought I'd made it then.
Yeah, of course.
You know, in my head I was like, geez, I'm going to get contract offers here, I'm going to be going trials everywhere. Obviously that didn't happen, and kind of had to kind of roll back a bit and go, right, let's go to college route. I was just, in my mind, I was doing it for the sake of doing it, just to get a degree. Like, if football didn't work out, but in my mind, I'm going to play football and that's it. Like, and I think a lot of players have that in their head, and it's hard to get out of that.
If you don't have it in your head, there's no point. And it's it's the same with any facet of anything that you're doing that's non-traditional. You have to have it in your head that this is going to work, or else you're not doing it in the first place. But I suppose, especially as being a goalkeeper, I mean, the pool is not as big. There's not like there's probably, if you're a top left winger or left back, there's probably 50 or 50. There's probably 500 other fellas in the country. Whereas with a goalkeeper, in fairness, the pool is quite small. But even like, you're 17 years of age, like, I was probably in a field out in the Dunmore Road somewhere. You know what I mean? And that's what I was doing. You were playing for Waterford, like.
No, it was
that must
mad.
blow your mind.
Like, I was doing normal things, and then, like, my parents had to chat with me something, going like, you need to be careful, like, people will be able to knock you because they know you're playing at Waterford, and that kind of hit home a small bit with me then. Like,
did you ever get anything like that?
Did I ever
get any fellas when you're that kind of, when you're that age? Did you get a bit of that?
Come up to you, like, and go like, yeah, you're playing Waterford, but like, they try to ride you up or say something, like, but social media wasn't as big obviously then, but I still used to go on and read stuff, and like, it was the worst thing you could do was, but especially if you made a mistake, you'd be going, I wonder what they said about me now, like, you know, and stuff. But that's the way it was. And when you're out in the country, everyone knows you're playing for Waterford, and you have a dad that wants to boast about you the whole time, which is great one side, but everyone knows about you. Then you're like, okay, right, need to kind of just be careful here now and stuff. And even nights out, like, you're still young, going out college nights out, you need to be careful. Like, you're playing with it. We were only semi-pro at the time, but still you're playing with a professional outfit. Yeah,
like. But this is it. Like, and I mean, again, like, I can't identify with a football thing, but from my own side of things, like, I know exactly what you're talking about. You'll get fellas who obviously want to shake your hand and say well done, but you'll also get fellas who want to chance you and see, can you get just rile you, twist you a little bit. And then obviously, as you said, then social media may not have been a huge thing, but the internet's always been a thing for pretty much all of our lives, and there's always been an outlet for people to bitch, moan, complain or praise. And I heard, a voice given to me before, I remember someone said to me, don't read anything that's said about you, reviews, whatever it is, don't read them. But if you are going to read them and they're good, you have to read the bad as well.
Oh, 100%. You can't, you can't just go on for the good. Like, I used to do it for both, to be fair. There used to be a Blues forum back in the day, like, that's where everything went.
BTI died.
Yeah, no,
BluesToLife.tk.
I was waiting for the videos when I played well, or I was waiting for the comments when I played bad, like, you know. So that's the way it was, and straight on after every game. Like,
Jesus,
I just don't know what it was. Even sitting on the bus coming home, I could be waiting for it, like, and just used to get in your head a bit, like, but sure, look, that was.
And how did you get past that then?
Unfortunately, I didn't.
You kept it?
No, I did. I just, like, when I got to 19 or 20, like, I made a couple of mistakes in some games, and used to get extremely nervous then going out for games. Like, actually, sometimes nearly going, oh, geez, I have to go out and play now. Like, and some days, other days, I was buzzing going out, but that would affect you. Like, but that's the way it was with me, and I wanted to do that. I wanted to look at it, but look, you have to take it when it comes. If you get negative comments, you have to take it and roll with it.
I suppose that is it, But look, I suppose playing at that level as a teenager or something, I just couldn't get my head around. I don't think I would have kept my head on the ground, to be honest with you. Like, because at that age, you're so impressionable. You don't know who you are, and all of a sudden, then that becomes who you are. But I'm glad, like, you went off to college and all that, because I do think people need that. Saying someone that went to film school for college, but still.
No, but still, it's what you wanted to do. Like, so you need to do something. Like,
did you play in college as well?
Played in college. Played Irish. university's team,
Yeah.
like our college team, so I ended up captaining that a couple of times as well, so I played different games. Then halfway through college, I was with Waterford, got player of the year in 2011, and then decided I wanted to make a move to Cork. So yeah, kind of didn't go down too well here, but took a year out of college and decided, right, I'm going to give it a go. Like, so yeah, went down there for 2 seasons. You're going to laugh now, and that's going to be the
yeah. Well, look, you brought it up, and like it's something that, you know, it's obviously interesting to talk about. Particularly, like we weren't in the same division for so long, and then obviously we relegated them, promoted us, and I remember only a couple of weeks ago when we played Cork at home on that Monday night, and I foolishly thought maybe it's not because we've been away from each other for so long, but it's a
it's a massive rivalry, and I'll be 100% honest with you, like I'd say 90% of the fans actually wished me well when I went down there.
Did they?
Yeah, it was more so people in the background that didn't, of the club that actually involved in the club, or kind of annoyed that I did leave. I can understand why. I've been there since 2008, whatever, like 4 or 5 seasons between under 20s and first team.
Yeah.
But I'm genuine, like as a kind of financial, like a kind of held back on a contract,
Yeah.
and then I decided, right, Cork offered me something, and it wasn't massively more, but I said, look, they seemed like they wanted me, like, so I went and
like I think Cork have gone through so many peaks and troughs like ourselves, but in fairness, the peaks that Cork have had in modern times have been huge as well, like, so there is that to take into account as well.
Yeah, and they literally had just been promoted, so got promoted the previous year, and I went down there. It's obviously an environment you're going into strange for me, like, you know, I'd never lived away from home and all this, and you're going down there going, am I good enough for this? They just get promoted, like. But I looked at Mark McNulty and I said, he's 32 or 3, he'll be finishing up in a year or 2. He played for another 10 years starting for Cork, and I was going, what was I even thinking, like, you know? But the first year, obviously, I knew I wasn't going to get in. I knew they were going to play him. He's a Cork lad, he's there all his life, so but then the second season, pre-season, I thought, I have a chance here. I was playing out of my skin. The Thursday night, the manager used to name the team for the first game. I was in the team that was going to play, like, so I had all my family come down for the game, like, and then into the dressing room, and he said, name the team. Never said it, and then McNulty was starting. I was like, my head went then kind of after that, like, you know. So.
And why did that happen?
I don't know. I think he kind of took the safe option and is like, right, if I drop Cork lad now and bring in this fella, it doesn't work, like. So I think so. Anyway, that's what I had.
But he
in my
told
head.
you were going to start, and then
I thought it was like, John, maybe I got the wrong impression, but I seemed like I was in the team that was going to play, and then after that, I kind of, not that I didn't give the effort, but my head was kind of,
it kills it for you a little bit.
Yeah, especially as a goalkeeper, because if you're a striker, you might get 10 minutes at the end of a game. If you're a goalkeeper, you're not getting that, like,
unless it's an injury,
an injury or a red card, like, so.
So the time down there wasn't maybe, like, I put it this way, the rivalry goes both ways. Was there ever a time down there where you were listening to a bit of, who's this Waterford fella, I think he is, or? No,
not really, like, so I didn't play as many competitive games, like, you know, I came on, McNulty got sent off from one, I came on, we played Drogheda one game, came on, and I played well, like, you know, but then the next game I started because he was suspended, left in a soft goal, probably could have saved him, and then you're kind of hearing grumblings, like, you know, so that's the way it was, but not as much as down in Waterford. I think it's different.
Well, it's certainly different.
It's different in your home kind of place. People kind of nearly knock you more so sometimes.
Well, I'll tell you this much, and it doesn't have to be football or film or comedy or anything like that. There's carpenters and tilers I know are getting knocked off people, so it's not just that's just what it is.
I think we always knock our own, like,
But look, but at the same time, you did say that 90% of the people wish you well, and that is the flip side of Waterford as well. That there will be the vast majority of people who love to see people doing well and love to see our own doing well. So that is important to say as well. There's stuff like that, Kevin, like taking a chance, which is a massive chance, by the way, to go to Cork. Then it's not quite working. They're sticking with McNulty, as you said. You're maybe getting impressions. It's not. Does it kill your passion for the game a little bit?
It did a small bit, I won't lie. And like I said, I was living away from home. Never lived away from home. I found it tough when I went down there first, like, and stuff. But after a while, you're living with fellas down there, like Johnny Dunleavy is one of my best friends now still, like, and I live with him. Things like that, you learn life skills down there as well, like, you know. But on the other side, you're down there to play football, and like I said, it did kind of knock you back a bit. So I was coming back then once that season finished, and I touched base with Tommy Griffin and Rennie to come back. I was kind of like, where am I at? Like, I hadn't played in a long time, so what do I do here? Like, you know, am I going to be what I was before I went down there, a decent keeper, or am I going to go backwards, like, you know? And I kind of in the middle, to be honest. Yeah, it was a weird feeling when I came back was come back hopefully thinking that I'd be right. I'm that leader in the dressing room, but I wasn't. Like, you know, I was still young enough. Anyway, yeah, it was kind of, did knock me back a small bit.
When did you finish up?
Stopped playing in 2016, League of Ireland.
Yeah, so the year before.
I actually, when I came back from Cork, it was 2014. Played that year. Went to America for a year then. With
what was that like?
Yeah, great. Didn't go to play football.
No, what was it like though?
Went on an internship, so it was brilliant. Went over, we actually played co-ed soccer over there, myself and my missus.
Did you?
My missus has never played soccer in her life. Crossed the white line, turned into a different animal altogether. It was brilliant.
I played on a co-ed team in Toronto when I lived there for a couple of months. I was up there doing a project in 2011. And I actually got banned from playing in the league.
No way.
Because it was too competitive.
It
was supposed to be very calm.
It was meant to be just friendly, like, and we didn't realise that. We were a GA team, first time ever putting in a soccer team into this.
Yeah.
Went out, I was playing outfield, like, you know.
Yeah.
Because I was supposedly fit.
Yeah.
But like, went out playing, first game, put in a tackle, great tackle, won the ball. Next referee comes over, yellow card.
This
and I
is
was
it,
going, what's this though? But look, anyway, it was great.
What part of the States were you in?
What's that?
What part of the States were you in?
Texas, in Houston.
That must have been just
it was unbelievable.
mind-blowing.
My wife had family down there, we stayed with them, but it was just unbelievable. Like, it was one of the best 12 months we've had, and for most part of it anyway. Like, you know, it was tough the first bit, trying to get a job and stuff, like, but no, it was unbelievable. Did a trip around just before we left, like, went from Grand Canyon and all that crap.
Yeah.
But it was brilliant. The soccer side of it, GA side of it was brilliant.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, you hear the people going like I lived in New York, I lived in Toronto, and they're kind of thing, you know, California, but Texas is still a little bit like.
It's not for a pasty white fella like me now.
It's not for the faint-hearted either.
40 degrees heat, like, you know, when you've fellas walking down the street with guns and stuff. But like, it was great. We're well looked after over there. But came back then to Roddy Collins then in 2016 season. Yeah. Came back, didn't work out. I wasn't the player I was, and then had a bit of falling out with him. Towards the end of towards the mid-season break, then we kind of both said, right, he's bringing another keeper. I said, right, I need to get out of here from my own head, like, so. Yeah,
and it wasn't long after that Rennie came back as well.
She won the league as 2017. Like, he won the league, so.
Is there a little twinge of regret there, or was it just not meant to be?
I wasn't. No. Like, I was getting towards the end of going, this is not for me as playing wise and stuff. Went to Ferrybank actually, like, got on great with Rocky Marr and stuff, and he had just gone out to Ferrybank and he asked me to go out there and play, so I was like, yeah, great, look, get back, go there for a couple of months.
Very hard to say no to Rocky.
It is, he's very persuasive, and Richard Gaffney as well rang me, so look, went out there and I said, right, I'll get back into the League of Ireland, but I obviously didn't. So I had the worst season I ever had when I went out there first
really
season. My head was completely gone. I was just leaving in goals that I never would have left in. I'd say they were thinking, what have we done here, who's this lad, like, you know, so. But look, after that, the following year after that, then I got player of the year for the club. It just shows I just needed to kind of get out of my system and then go play. Like, you know,
a lot of football seems to be in the head anyway, but is it more so for a keeper, do you think?
Definitely. Yeah. If your confidence on the floor, you're leaving in goals left, right and centre.
Like, if you're playing as a striker, you might miss a chance, but that's not necessarily costing your team a goal. It must be incredible pressure.
It's unbelievable. Like any, like, you drop a ball, it's a goal 90% of the time. Like, you know, so it's a tough position, but can be so rewarding as well at the same time. Like,
talk to us about the coaching side of things, because obviously your goalkeeping coach now for the Waterford women's team, and I said, like, you know, anytime I talk about it, it's history, it's the first ever season, it's the first ever of everything. But how is that rewarding for you, like, as a coach? Because you mentioned you always wanted to get into coaching. Is it something you're enjoying?
Loving it. I started kind of coaching fully on my own in 2017, set up my own goalkeeping academy, but when you get in with a team, it's just even better. I mean, it's your home team as well. Like, obviously I took the kitman's job, and Richie won't mind me saying this, I spoke to him at the start. I said, right, I want to get into coaching full time as a way into getting into a full time environment, learning from full time managers, coaches, like, so. For this to come up, then I jumped at the opportunity. Like, and even with Gary, I worked with Gary before. I've worked with, there's 5 keepers, say, between the 70s, 90s and first team. I've worked with 4 of them before. Wow. So, like, it's a great environment for us to be in, like, you know, at the minute. And like you said, there's a buzz about it. First time ever having a women's team, and I couldn't turn it down. Like, I've done my coaching badges, and hopefully get onto the goalkeeping A next year. Like, but I have outfield and goalkeeping B license, so it's like, right, it's a natural progression for me to go into this, get into League of Ireland, like, you know, and start from there.
So, I mean, Maeve Williams is our number one, and we all know Maeve very well, and we love Maeve. How is she to work with on a football pitch?
Brilliant. Like, look, I worked with Maeve since she was, I'd say, 14, 15, coaching our one-to-ones. Then she was down in Wexford when I went down to Wexford Women's in 23. She didn't have a great time of it there, and like me personally as well, I was kind of in and out of it. Like, you know, it was a bit of a trek for me at the time. And then obviously I got injured, so I missed a lot of that season. So herself, she kind of, I think she lost a bit of confidence, as you do as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Like, so when this opportunity came up with the women's team, I think she was just like itching to get in. And so I think when I saw her coming in the first day, like, she was bouncing coming in. She was delighted to even be around it. But like I said to her at the start, that's not enough to be from Waterford, be a supporter of the club and come in, and just like, you have to kind of work. And I knew that she would, like, you know, she's hit the ground running. I have to say, from pre-season, she's been top notch, like, so.
And I mean, she saved 2 penalties in the Shells game. I mean, I talked to Gary on this before, and we were saying, like, obviously the result didn't end up the way it was, but the performance maybe didn't reflect that.
Yeah.
As a coach and a goalkeeper yourself, like, when you see a keeper saving not one but 2 penalties, there must be a huge sense of pride.
Oh, it is 100%. Like, yeah. And then, like, she followed that up in Sligo. She was unbelievable. Like, you know, she'd been a small bit disappointed. Like, I think as an outsider, you're looking in, going, she probably couldn't have done much about the goals and Shells. But as a goalkeeping department, we look at it and go, maybe if you could do this better. Like, and even herself, she's her own worst critic sometimes. Like, it's hard to get look, keepers, you kind of leave them off and do that, like, and you just chat to them about it. But she went up to Sligo and corrected everything that she might have took a few steps wrong in the Shelbourne game. But Sligo, then, to do what she did up there, some of the things that look simple to a normal person, like, but to a goalkeeper, some of the things she did were very difficult, and she made them look easy, like, you know. So even that was more I took more pride from that than the game before, and saving 2 penalties, like, you know. So I keep reminding Brian Murphy's the only clean sheet like we have in the club this year, so he'll be happy with that one.
I think the supporters will be delighted with that one as well. We need to wind it down a little bit now, but like, how is the balancing between both, doing kitman for the men's team, such a busy job, goalkeeping coach for the women's team, a lot of responsibility there as well. Are you balancing it okay, do you think?
I am. I think the fact that, like, obviously the men are in mornings and then the women are evening time, it's working well. There's been no clash of a game. I think for the season there's only one clash of a game, so, like, in that sense it's easy for me to do that, like, you know, I have the time to give it during the day, or when the first team are finished, to prepare for the women's one. And I think that's making it easier for me. If I was rushing from a normal job, 9 to 5 job, to try to do it, like, I think it'd be a bit more difficult. But the fact that I'm in around the first team in football mode, like, you know, for a full day, and then go in the evening and do that, like, it makes it a lot easier. Like, you know, it is busy, don't get me wrong. Weekends are busy, and my wife was looking at me going out full day Friday, full day Saturday. It's tough from that side, but it's rewarding at the end of the day. It's what I want to be doing. I'm in football, like, so.
We're all dealing with that little one as well. But I want to finish off with something a little bit unique. Sometimes I finish these different ways. I've asked a couple of people who they have for dinner and stuff like that. But top 3 goalkeepers of all time.
Top 3 goalkeepers of all time. Wow. Because
it doesn't get talked about enough. You always get talked about who's the best player, and it's always Messi, Ronaldo, Pele, Maradona, all this kind of stuff. But who would you think? And I won't say 5 because I think that's a lot. But
it's a lot.
Top 3 goalkeepers of all time.
Shay Given is in there.
Really?
Yeah. 100%. Nobody do. Like, I think the girls are sick of me mentioning Shay Given. They don't know who he is because they're so young. Like,
wow.
But I'm going, can you just watch Shay Given's videos and just?
I met him out in Seaview Celtic.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah, years ago.
That's how old I am.
Unbelievable what he did. Like, never came for crosses.
Okay.
But he always said, I'm going to stand back and be good. Like, so I'd say, if you're a small keeper, watch Shay Given.
Wow.
Who's Shay Given? But anyway, he would have been in mid-top.
Well, I think he's kind of forgotten about as well, because he was heralded, like, he was playing with Newcastle for so long, and it was like, where's he going to end up? Obviously he went to City, maybe little bit later in his career.
Later, but no, he's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, what he did, like, he was just so good, so consistent, like, excellent.
2 others?
He'd probably be number 3. I don't know who I'd have number 2. But number 1 is definitely Peter Schmeichel. Like,
really, yeah.
I'm a United supporter. I just grew up watching him. And sorry, Tony, I know you're looking.
No, I'm just looking into the camera just because, like, of course, Peter Schmeichel.
But, like, he was such a presence. Like, he was outrageous.
And a goal threat as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he got 2.
He got 2.
Yeah. I think so.
But he was brilliant.
He just made himself big, didn't he?
He did. He was just unbelievable at that. And then, like, weird one. My parents used to love watching Real Madrid back in the day for some reason, and so Iker Casillas, he was just, and then didn't like when he got messed around. He did so much for Real Madrid, and then got thrown to the side near the end. But yeah, those three, I think, given Casillas and Schmeichel.
There you
no
go.
one modern. I don't think there's anyone modern really that have kind of done it for me. I'm kind of old school on that, save the ball and catch the ball, save it kind of thing.
And like that's the three you've said are my era growing up as well, and I'd struggle to argue on any of the
they're
three.
All very good, so that'll be it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Kevin Byrne, thank you so much.
No bother. Thank you, Tony.
Best of luck for the season.
Thank you.